sorry. Ow, goddamn, fucking recall my red laughing. Ow. And anyways, whenever you, goddamn it, fuck these red hands. So it's so cool. So it's like the finite. So you run the infinite, you run the precise volume of the infinite, and then for that moment it's an open loop because there's things at the infinite. And then after that, you're gonna get a closed loop. You're gonna get a thing or another open loop. You can get open or closed loop here. And the open loop would be the thing thinking about the infinite thinking. And then, but anyways, no matter what step you're on there, the step next is to close the loop. And that is just to realize that whatever thought process you're on at that moment, whatever piece of the open loop that you're in, you close it by realizing and that's the infinite. And then you get a few seconds of that God's wrath, that beautiful silence. And then what'll happen is if you keep drowning yourself in that ocean, if you just keep plunging your head in every single time you realize that you're thinking, you just plunge it back into, and that's the infinite. And then your mind fades back down. And then you'll get a thought thinking about being the infinite, like, oh, this is also cosmically funny and beautiful. And then you take that and you're like, yeah, and that's the infinite. And you disintegrate that. And you're always just closing the loop. Anytime if you're thinking about the loop, it needs to be closed. Because thinking about the loop is an open loop. Thinking about anything is an open loop. You gotta close the loop. You gotta realize it's the infinite, and then it disintegrates itself. And anyway, the more you get down into this, the more of this like pure God ego you get, and then you realize it's not even the infinite, but it's the closest thing to the infinite that can stimulate man, the mind of man. Jesus. Oh my God, this is such a good discovery. That's a evaluation framework. This would be an interesting one that we need to work on, but it would essentially be you'd ask the question like, what am I? And what I would come down to is you need to put things into the Trinity, right? You need to observe what am I? What is this? Because I just integrates into the rest of the framework of reality, and essentially you're looking at things from a framework perspective, and it gives you it could get you to the same place more logically from the way that I'm getting there. Perhaps if we did the evaluation framework and really fleshed it out with the Trinity, it would appear that you have to put breathing on pure awareness. You're going to put breathing in anything. You can't put it on closed loop theorem because if CLP is open, that means that you need to close the loop. So you have an open loop running. So it need to be on pure awareness or nothing at all. Make it more of the yo-yo theorem. And so interesting. Lots of work to do. Lots of work to be done, my brother. I just closed the loop on a closed loop. It's wild, my friend. It's the war zone. The perfection, infinity, that whole ordeal is taking me to pure practicality. This is something very interesting. I think the better quote what I was saying before. It's not that I don't believe. It's not that I don't really need to believe. It's that I could not fucking care less if it's true. I know it is. I just couldn't give a fuck less, whether it is or isn't. Because it's like, but this is how it makes me feel. This is what it makes me do. This is what it feels like. Like, I just don't care. I just don't care if it's true. I know that it is. Because I can feel it. Of course it might be. I mean, of course it is. But it just does not matter at all. And it's just this feeling of just pure practicality. Like, the best way to explain it works is just like in the UFC, right? I feel like I could beat every single fucking one of them. And if I got smashed in 2 seconds by the worst guy in there, I would still think the exact same thing. Because it increases my odds to win exponentially. And it just comes down to pure practicality. And it's like, I don't want to do what's true. I want to do what gets me the best results. Literally, truth happens to be aligned with power. Typically, there's this nagging, infinite ambition. It's just like, unless I'm in that moment farthering my goals tenfold, it will never fit perfectly with my left brain. Infinite ambition. And it's like, typically that is really good with the ruiner framework, because it's like, the left brain doesn't like it's perfect, the right brain is perfect, and then it leads to a shutdown. But because I wasn't closing the loop, what happens when you close the loop is you realize it's like that infinite ambition is beautiful. You don't try and remove it. Of course, the answer to everything is just like, yeah, you don't remove it, it's just perfect. I mean, you have a problem, it's just perfect. Yeah, it's a classic. So I didn't see it earlier, but I diagnosed the problem that way. And essentially, it's unendingly beautiful that being in this conduit is just hung. It wants to be, not this reality. It wants to do a million things. And that's the feeling of hurting. That's the feeling of power. It's the feeling of we're in a conduit who wants that, and we are in the best position in all of reality, possibly for that. And now it's time to act. Now it's time to move. Now it's time to release the light. I'm not at all capable of doing that. The loop is far too complicated.
So then you say, could you label all...
You can go ahead.
Could you label all aspects of the loop? You had first mentioned that a few days ago. I just need to know what that means entirely. Also, hunger is a great description for it. I realized the same thing earlier today. I found that it's like my mind and body has found a new hunger, but has no taste or preferences. It simply is satisfied by the consumption of whatever is in front of it. The great devourer framework.
You need to ask specific portions you don't get. I'd have to apply a little piece of muscle that we should definitely call later, and that should help to weed it all out. But yeah, there's no way I can just like conclude all of it down like, quickly. Can't simply explain it. Way too complicated. Very very interesting little thing here is we would always, like, I get thoughts from the perspective of the infinite, right? Like looking at action and looking at the world, right? Thinking things about it. And I always felt like that was the infinite. What I'm realizing now is like that's the finite, like making conclusions from the perspective of the infinite, and the infinite speaks in silence. And so basically, it's like when you close the loop, that's silence, right? But when the loop is open, that's when the mind is speaking. And the mind can be speaking from the perspective of action, or the mind can be speaking from the perspective of the infinite watching action. But if it's speaking, it's not the infinite. Even if it claims to be the infinite, that's just the finite, like speaking from the infinite, and the infinite speaks in silence. I don't know. There's something here. It's very hard to explain. H. All right, so I fixed the that issue. Anyways, H. Yes, I have to say it again. I made a message before, and
That's awesome. So then my next message is if it makes a noise, it's not me. That is incredible. That is literally the exact line I've been dropping by the speaker lately, which is, if it talks, it's not you. If it claims to be you, it's not you. Anything which says it's you is the devil. Like all of those concepts, you are not the speaker. You are the one who guides it. Like every single one of those, go beneath the water. They're all this idea of if it makes a noise, it's not me.
I was thinking about that recently. I was thinking about it in the terms of like the horror stories you would hear where like you see your mother in the kitchen and then you hear your mother's voice from like up the stairs call your name. It's like there is a demonic voice that's mimicking something's voice to get your attention. It's like that demon is literally the voice in your head that sounds like you and will make you want to think things. But that in itself is not you, and you should be like cautious and very wary of any voice in your head that actually thinks things.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. And what that looks like is like a consistent argument in your head of like the voice saying something and then you responding and then you understanding that you're not the voice which just responded either. So like it's like a forever backwards until you. Uh,
It's like cutting off a piece of you and then raising it back to life to convince you to do something.
the
It's
next
like
thing
a little zombie they create.
um, honestly, that is a good way to put it, like a necromancy, as far as like you kill a thought and then you instantly try and revive it, but to actually follow your will, basically. Um, the next thing I say is the cycle. Identify the thrashing and distances from it. So I'm assuming the framework is called the cycle, and I say identify thrashing and distance from it. And then I say wind call. It's all about identification. You don't silence anything. The distance will silence itself. Yep, that's beautiful. That's the whole appreciation leads to the destruction of language, especially a useful language. I say you don't identify with the finite. If it makes noise, realize it's thrashing. You are trying to become the infinite, but anything which thinks it is not. You say call, I say not yet. Trying to get fully back into it. We will be either 45 or 00. You don't need to silence, you simply need to separate. Separation texture. Separation texture is basically the Hermes right behind me or smoke bomb framework. That was when I was focusing purely on just like stepping back. And then obviously it's like the man behind the frameworks too, but it's a little bit more focused on intentionality. Step one, I am the finite, normal people brain. Step two, I am the infinite, Joker brain. Step three, I am the infinite, Joker brain. But there's also normal brain programs running simultaneously. And if there's a part of me which knows it is the infinite. Okay. This one's brutal. Okay. Step one, I am. I'm going to read it silently until I figure it out fully, and then I'll read it out loud. Yeah, even I'll butcher that. I'll butcher this one as well, but we'll see. So I say step 1, I am the finite, normal people brain. Step 2, I am the infinite, Joker brain. Step 3, I am the infinite, Joker brain, but there's also normal brain programs running simultaneously. And if there is a part of me which knows it is the infinite, it also understands how the finite is also capable of existing, and that does not and does that not mean that they are both finite, therefore they are both infinite? So I'm basically saying this is the whole left brain right brain thing, where I'm saying there's step 1 is the normal people who just think normal thought, and then step 2 are the people who are like, I am beyond normal, I am God. And then step 3, the most advanced people, are the people who do not think they are God, but they manipulate their brain in a way where they are always maximized towards maximum efficiency, and so therefore they end up reaching God. And the way I say it here is that I say that you have the quote unquote Joker brain, or that divine smile, but there's also normal brain programs running simultaneously, and you are the thing that understands that everything is finite because it is a part of the infinite, and you are none of the finitude itself. So yeah, I mean that's just a much more schizophrenic way to put the whole go behind the language idea. You say, my brother in Christ, Ryan, is too busy playing Valorant to talk to me about our call. Classic. You send me a Kabalion audiobook. The Kabalion, a study guide for Hermetic philosophy. You say, I think we are about to enter a new era of knowledge. You say, Ashley, can you see any voice messages sent? I sent 2, but they aren't showing up. No, they still aren't there. Unrelated to the above message, but I'm watching this lecture on astral projection. Would recommend. Truly, all the potentials of astral projection is literally godly, and it seems more than likely real. Send a video on that, and then you send messages.
H. Lost of the Void is pretty good. So, an interesting caveat of the thrashing of the infinite mind is that, when a mind goes to create something, it has a concept of it as a template to try to imitate. When a writer tries to write a story, or an architect tries to create a building, or someone tries to create a video game, anyone goes to try to create something, and they have a picture in their head of what it could be, the best possible version it could possibly be. Of course, anyone who tries to go do anything, you have an idea of, I'm about to do this thing. All right, well, here's the best possible way of me doing it, and I'm going to try to do it to my best ability to do that thing. And everyone tries to do the best possible thing. And specifically, like, in our lives, that best possible thing has been, like, fractured and in our minds, where the best possible thing is, like, up to us, where we in our lives we have an ideal in our head that to ourselves of what you need to be. And it's like my particular ideal is not going to include, for example, being a leader of a video game company, for example. Like, that's not my ideal. That's not like the end of my life's goal, right? Someone might want to do that, that's just not my end goal. But someone's life that could be. But it's like, specifically knowing that you should live towards your ideal, knowing that's the infinite's ideal of your life. Your ideal of your life is the infinite's ideal of your life when it created, when you were in the process of creation. And it's like, knowing it's like, that's the best possible thing. It's like, just going towards that, like a light. It's like some Jordan Peterson talk right there. It's like, that'll get some people in the seats, sickened, starved to death of meaning. That would be a good sales pitch. What exactly is the closing of the loop? What exactly is that?
I say unaware open loop. There's parentheses. I'm just gonna say definition, because that's what the parentheses mean. Unaware open loop, the definition is normal people and the level of the frameworks. So unaware open loop is the normal people or the level where you're trying to switch between individual frameworks. So this is just regular individuality. Then you have aware open loop. So this loop is still open, but you're aware of the fact that the loop is open. So that's aperion. So those are the ones where you're thinking about God, but you aren't sure that you are God. You are only trying to move in the direction of God, or a question mark. And the last one would be closed loop, which I call baptism. And that is whenever you truly understand that there is nothing except the loop and everything is contained within it. So apparently aperion was our version for the question mark, or black hole or white hole, depending on the time period, which is interesting. Then I say find out when you are going to beach house with Mimi. I smell like spray paint, and I can't tell if I'm about to like die or if there's actually a smell changing. That'd be funny if I just died in the middle of these messages reading those stuff. It'd be hilarious.
You go through like one of the best messages ever, and you die as it finishes.
Yeah, that would be like I literally see the fact that finally I'm my life wasn't a waste. I do have the whole religious progression on tape, and then I just fucking immediately fall over. Like seriously, I smell spray paint.
You would give me the best content ever. A guy dies while listening to his own stuff while reaching enlightenment.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. That would be a good sales pitch. You could put that on some YouTube.
And I got to carry on his legacy.
But seriously, it smells like someone sprayed spray paint in my room, like on my wall just now. Still, and I don't know if I'm hallucinating that or if someone is spraying spray paint. I don't hear anyone spraying spray paint. I can't imagine a world where someone is spraying spray paint in a way where I could smell it. It's got to be someone outside, but why can I smell it inside? Well, I'm gonna go see what the fuck that is. I mean, I'm gonna like get high off of fumes. This is like. You still there, Char? Char?
Aston. Aston. What? Aston? When Mom gets home, if you're out of the bathroom and she asks what the smell is from the paint, don't tell her. Like, act like you don't know what the smell is. Okay? Because me and Dad and Dad and I'm gonna do that. We're gonna trick Mom that we don't smell the smell. So you do it too.
Howdy.
Howdy.
It was someone spray painting inside. My father was fucking spray painting cardboard in the fucking kitchen.
As you do.
Okay, ready to record?
Yeah.
So then I send an image from Discord, and I say funny. Actually, let me